How are you? I'm sure you must be studying so hard for your board exam. Today, I, Dr. Brijesh Shankarrao Deshmukh, is going to continue 2.3 poem The Inchcape Rock, written by Robert Southey. Before going to the poem, it's my prior duty to take the introduction of earlier discussion. In our last lecture, we have discussed about the poet Robert Southey, his period, from where he has completed his education, with little bit background of his family, and the most important, how he has won the laureates, how he has won the fame and publicity for his remarkable work, the scholar poem, The Battle of Benim, Bishop Hatto, The Inchcape Rock were remain very popular work by Robert Southey. Then we have discussed the concept of ballad in Up to the Length. I am sure after listening the first video there won't be any issue related to the concept of ballad. Ballad is a long poem. It is having narrative form and it consists of rhyming scheme and rhyming poems. Every stanza, particularly if we are going to talk about the present poem, the Inchcape Rock is having 17 stanzas. Every stanza is having 4 lines, and if you are checking it carefully, we can find out rhyming scheme and rhyming pattern or rhyming pairs in each and every stanza. Now, let's continue towards the paraphrasing of the stanzas. At the very first, I am going for the poem. We'll do the reading, then paraphrasing of the each and every stanza. In a way, we will go forward towards our lecture. The Inchcape Rock, no stir in the air, no stir in the sea. The ship was still as she could be. Her sails from the heaven received no motion. Her keel was steady in the ocean. The meaning of the stanza is, the sailors are on their sail, where sea seems to be silent. There was no motion of the waves, or the waves were not rising nor falling. They were floating silently. So the sails of the ship was also silent, without any motion of the wind. Now the next stanza. Without either sing or sound of the shock, the waves flowed over the Inchcape Rock. So little they rose, so little they fell. They did not move the Inchcape bell. On the very subsequent day, the time the sailors started their journey to sail in the ocean, everything seems to be so silent. Nobody was singing any song, nor anyone was having the merry mood. Everything seems to be silent. The bell on that Inchcape Rock was also silent. There was no any motion nor a sound of the bell, as there was no wind. Ahead, the third stanza. The abbot of Aberbrothick had placed that bell on the Inchcape Rock bell. The abbot of Aberbrothick had placed that bell on the Inchcape Rock. On a buoy in the storm it floated and swung, and over the waves its warning rung. Here we can see a new word, buoy. Buoy means informing danger, alarming. Our hero, the abbot of Aberbrothick, had placed the bell on Inchcape Rock by risking his life. He placed the bell so that bell's sound can help the sailors to protect themselves, or the bell can warn them the danger ahead, and they can change their way of floating or going through the ship. As we have discussed earlier, Abbot of Aberbrothick had installed the bell on Inchcape Rock. An Inchcape Rock is a notorious sandstone reef about 11 kilometer miles or 11 miles, that means 18 kilometer off the east coast of Angus, which is in Scotland, near Dundee and Fife, occupied by the Bell Rock Lighthouse. The main intention of Abbot Aberbrothick to install the bell to help all the sailors to save sailing in the sea. Let's check it out the next stanza. When the rock was hid by the surge's swell, the mariners heard the warning bell, and then they knew the perilous rock and blessed the Abbot of Aberbrothick. Perilous rock means the danger or dangerous structure of rocks which were present in the sea. Abbot tried his level best to help every mariner to sail safe. So he hung that bell on that Inchcape Rock, so everyone can do their business without any trouble. And most of the time, when there used to be a storm, that warning bell or the Inchcape bell used to rung hard. So mariners used to get information about the weather is not good to sail from that direction of east, and they used to change their direction to save their lives and to do their business without putting their lives in danger. Now the next stanza. The sun in heaven was shining gay, all things were joyful on that day. The seabirds screamed as they whirled round, and there was joyance in their sound. On the subsequent day, when mariners started their sail, the sun came into the sky. It was a fresh, bright morning. Everything now turned towards good. Everything seems to be so perfect. The wind was silent. There wasn't big motion in a wind, and the atmosphere was just perfect to sail into the ocean. Here we can see the birds are screaming, they are reeling, they are moving around the ships, as we have got the reference from the rhyme of the ancient mariner, where Albatross the bird came across through Mariner's Hollow to get some food, and in return, that bird, the albatross, might have helped the mariner to cross the sea and to go to the shore with safety. But everything turned down in that poem. Likewise, in the very poem, we will take only first reference that the birds, they are moving around the ships so they can get some food to eat, and it was joyful weather. Just the way we all love to hear the voices of birds. We love to watch their colorful wings, small or the little wings of the birds, with a very courage they are taking a high flight. Writer has informed all of us to do the dare in life and challenge the day and go ahead. Every day is perfect, just we have to make it with our goodness. If our aim is clear, definitely nothing can stop us. Like the Abbot of Aberbrothick had done the goodness by placing the bell on that Inchcape Rock. For a while he had put his life in danger, but his goodness is quite remarkable. His goodness is going to save number of the lives those are going to sail from the sea particularly from the Scotland Sea, where they they can come across to the Inchcape Rock, and Inchcape Rock's bell can give them warning not to float in the bad weather. The next stanza. The boy of the Inchcape bell was seen. The boy of the Inchcape bell was seen, a darker speck on the ocean green. Sir Ralph the rover walked his deck, and he fixed his eye on the darker speck. Check this out. What is the meaning of darker speck? A tiny dot. It seems to be that Inchcape Rock seems to be small from the far distance, but if we reach close to it, down into the sea, it's quite big, can destroy the boat, can damage the boat. And if the boats get damaged, definitely that means the crew members, including the head of the ship or the captain of the ship, will come across to the danger. So, the bell was helpful to everyone to understand the sequences or the subsequence those are going to be faced by them. So, ahead, he felt the cheering power of spring. It made him whistle, it made him sing. His heart was mirthful to excess, but the rover's mirth was wickedness. Now here comes the Sir Ralph the rover. Sir Ralph the rover has started his journey. Everything seems to be fine with him also, but his wickedness is not going to leave him from his acts. Definitely, Sir Ralph the rover had planned something in his mind about looting, about bringing hard time in some other mariner's life, and that's what bring smile on Sir Ralph the rover's face. In the very stanza, he felt the cheering power of spring. It made him whistle, it made him sing. Sir Ralph the rover is happy as it's the bright day, and this bright day will be helpful for him to accomplish his task. His heart was mirthful to excess. His heart was mirthful to excess, but the rover's mirth was wickedness. In his heart, he had desire, there was a joy. And other side, in his cunning mind, he must have planned something wrong. His devilish nature won't let him sit without bringing danger in some other mariner's life. Next stanza. His eyes on the Inchcape float, quoth he, my men, put out the boat and row me to the Inchcape Rock, and I'll plug the abbot of Aberbrothick. Check this out. What Ralph has demanded? He asked his mariners, he asked his crew members to sail towards the Inchcape Rock. Now, why he is going towards there? Let's see it out. Into the next stanza, writer has explained everything, but now Sir Ralph has demanded to his crew to let's travel towards the Inchcape Rock. Quoth, what is the meaning of quoth? He said, he asked to his men. Quoth, it's an archaic word from Old English, and the meaning of plug is cause or a pain. That Sir Ralph the rover has decided to bring some pain Not only in the life of Abbot of Aberbrothick, even in the life of all the mariners, those are going to sail from the Inchcape Rock. The next stanza. The boat is lowered, the boatmen row, and to the Inchcape Rock they go. Sir Ralph the rover bent over from the boat and he cut the bell from the Inchcape float. Check this out. The evil man, Sir Ralph the rover, gave results to his work. Why he was smiling? Earlier stanza explained the mood of Sir Ralph the rover. He was smiling, he was whistling. His mood was very cheerful. He was on top of joy. Now, the things are clear for every reader that the devil man had some devil plan in his mind. That he reached across to Inchcape Rock and cut down the Inchcape bell, which had been placed by Abbot of Aberbrothick. Now, next stanza. Down sunk the bell with a gurgling sound. The bubbles rose and burst around. Quoth Sir Ralph, the next who comes to the rock won't bless the Abbot of Aberbrothick. After attempting the act of cutting the boat, after attempting the job of cutting the bell, Sir Ralph the rover informed to his crew members, now there are no blessings for Abbot of Aberbrothick. He won't get any blessing from any mariner who is sailing from the Scotland shore, from the Scotland sea. Now, the mariners, those will go across to the Inchcape Rock, definitely they will come across to an heavy accident as there is nothing to warn them. So, he is very happy. Down sunk the bell with a gurgling sound, with emotions of sound of gurgling as the bell was sinking. It started making a sound. The bubbles started coming out of the hollow of the bell, and the bell went down to the sea. Sir Ralph seems very happy with his actions. Sir Ralph the rover sailed away. He scoured the seas for many a day, and now, grown rich with plundered store, he steers his course for Scotland's shore. Check this out. After cutting the bell of Inchcape Rock, most of the mariners or most of the ships, those had travelled from the Inchcape Rock, had met to an heavy accident, and Sir Ralph the rover took the benefit of that, and he made a good money. He made a good property by looting the ships, by bringing harm into others' life. And it went for good to many days. Now he became rich. He had gathered good property by looting, by bringing harm in some other mariner's life. Plundered store. What is the meaning of plundered store? Plundered store means now in a big amount he collected the wealth. His steers now decided his journey towards the Scotland shore. After making a good money, Sir Ralph the rover is going to settle down, spend his Wealthy life at Scotland shore. What kind of wealthy life Sir Ralph the Rover may have, as he has brought difficulties, hardships into some other mariner's life. Let's go towards the next stanza. So thick a haze, oh, so thick a haze overspreads the sky. They cannot see the sun on high. The wind hath blown a gale all day, at evening it hath died away. Haze means the mist, thin mist. It's the evening time that sun went down. Now there is no natural light. In daytime, the mariners, they can travel with the help of navigator and by keeping eyes on their directions. If the weather is good to travel, there won't be any danger for the mariners. But now sun went down. The wind hath blown a gale all day. At evening it hath died away. Now the darkness started spreading and things have started changing against to Sir Ralph the Rover. This is a supernatural element used by Robert Southey in the poem In an Inchcape Rock. The very stanza, the wind hath blown a gale all day, at evening it hath died away. It gives us information that the darker night has started coming, started arising, which indirectly means this is the time to pay back of the deeds. And whose deeds? Sir Ralph the Rover's. What he had done, now this is the time to pay back of his sins, of his crimes. The next stanza. On the deck the rover takes his stand. So dark it is they see no land. Quoth Sir Ralph, it will be lighter soon, for there is the dawn of the rising moon. The crew members, they asked to Sir Ralph, now to which direction shall we travel, as the day is going to end, the darker night is approaching soon. We need to halt somewhere, we need to stop somewhere. So everyone can gather the energy by resting tonight. So we need to find some land. We need to reach at shore so we can take a halt. Sir Ralph is answering, canst hear, said one, the breakers roar. Canst hear, said one, breakers roar. For men thinks we should be near the shore. Now where we are I cannot tell, but I wish I could hear the Inchcape bell. The crew members, they failed to ride their boat properly in that darker night, and they are gazing. Now they are close to the seashore. Here the word methinks, it means seems to the mariners. That means I think. Whose I? The Ralph the Rover said, I think we are near to the shore. But that think means even he is not sure about that have they reached to the shore or something else. For a while a thought came into the mind of Sir Ralph the Rover that I wish I could hear the sound of bell. But how come? Already he had attempted the action to cut down the bell. Now there is no bell which can warn them about the danger ahead. Now they can't hear any sound of any ringing bell, and no one was there so can help Sir Ralph the Rover to score safely from the shore. The next stanza. They hear no sound, the swell is strong, though the wind hath fallen, they drift along, till the vessel strikes with a shivering shock. O Christ, it is the Inchcape Rock. Check this out. Now there is no sound of anything, nor the bell is there to warn them about the danger. And the wind had started flowing hardly, and to protect from the hard wind, they started sailing smoothly ahead. They drift along nearby to their ship. The wind was now bit steady. But what was that? Next to it, they observed their ship is close to Inchcape Rock. So, Sir Ralph the Rover prayed to God, O Christ, please save me, please save my members, as they are close to Inchcape Rock. Now, why Sir Ralph the Rover is begging to God? Why he is calling God now? Obviously, the Inchcape Rock was the most dangerous rock into the East Coast Sea, where if the ship thwarts to it, it will break into every corner, and breaking of the ship means death of everyone. Sir Ralph the Rover tore his hair. He cursed himself in his despair. Sir Ralph the Rover tore his hair. He cursed himself in his despair. The waves rush in every side. The ship is sinking beneath the tide. As his action of cutting down the bell not only put him into the danger, but also to all the crew members. As the ship dashed to the Inchcape Rock, it started breaking by each and every side. The dash of the ship to the Inchcape Rock was quite hard, so the water started gushing into every side, and the ship started sinking beneath the tide. It started going under the water, sunking under the water. And the last stanza of the poem. But even in his dying fear, one dreadful sound could the rover hear, a sound as if with the Inchcape bell the devil below was ringing his knell. Knell? What is the meaning of knell? The sound of bell rung solemnly after death, or at funeral announcement of death. As the ship started sinking, Sir Ralph the Rover recalled the past. The attempt, his action, his deeds of cutting the bell, due to that, now his life is risk, and the ship sunk down the water. All the crew members died in that ship. Sir Ralph the Rover heard the sound of bell in his mind and heart. The devil was waiting for Sir Ralph the Rover due to his devilish act. And the devil is so happy now to give punishment for the action of Sir Ralph the Rover. Now, check this out. What is the use of collecting much wealth? Sir Ralph the Rover cut down that Inchcape bell to loot or to make a good money by looting the mariners. Today, he became so wealthy. He had collected good wealth also. But what is the use now that he lost his life? So always remember, whatever you have planned or whatever we are planning, what will be the future circumstances, we have to think ahead. We have to think on beforehand. Plan your work and walk accordingly onto your plan. If we have decided to do the good jobs, then definitely we'll get the good results. And about the bad deeds, we have seen in the very poem what are the results. Sir Ralph the Rover got punishment by his destiny for his evil deeds, where our hero, Abbot of Aberbrothick, will always remain alive in the minds of many mariners. Those had travelled safely through the Scotland shore nearby the Inchcape Rock. All those mariners had travelled safe will give blessings to Abbot of Aberbrothick. And now Sir Ralph the Rover got the punishment for his deeds. Now, let's check it out the end of our today's session. Sir Ralph the Rover gets punishment for his sinful work. Here, a writer, poet, Robert Southey, he has delivered a message through the poem that sinful act will always get the punishment. The poet Robert Southey has greatly dealt with a fact that as you sow, so you shall reap. Abbot hung the bell, risking his life at Inchcape Rock. Abbot's great work might have helped many along Sir Ralph the Rover, but Sir Ralph the Rover had turned everything down. Due to his act, he lost his life, and many more will lose their lives in an upcoming time. The poem is really brainstorming and dealing with the fact that if we do good to others, it will come to us. So, one need to always think beforehand of any action or decision. Thank you. For better understanding of the poem, one must listen this video again and go through every stanza. It's very easy. Just the poem seems to be long, as obviously it is a form of ballad, so it is going to be, or it is long poem. But more than that, the poem is quite interesting. It's the most beautiful poem that gives us a beautiful message, respect of every life. That's what the Inchcape Rock. Thank you. In our next lecture, We will go for the appreciation of the poem in detail, figure of speeches of the present poem, The Inchcape Rock, written by Robert Southey. Now, I, Dr. Brijesh Deshmukh, take your leave from today's lecture, and I am grateful for listening the lecture, the session with full of devotion. Thank you.